and we are live with another episode of our D&D Essentials Kit, The Dragon of Icespire Peak. I have gathered a whole crowd of amazing nerds from the internet, and they are going to do their best to stomp through the caves of Nomengard today. So somebody, anybody, Ben, tell me what happened in our last episode.
All right, so in our last episode, Illum, Zook, and Jamril all arrived in Phandalin and sought out the command board, which gives kind of the jobs around the town. We found 3 different jobs, but decided we needed some help to get through the wilderness and went to the local pub to see who we could find. We stumbled upon Raytheon, and he took us to Longtooth's cabin, where we also met Cazador. The 6 of us journeyed onwards to, I believe it's Umbridge Hill, where we helped an elderly lady who was under siege by a manticore. Longtooth nearly fell in the fight, but we were successful. Didn't all the way fall. Anyway, we made our way to Nomengard, where we were instantly met with a sleeping town and an elderly lady on some sort of siege turret thing, which nearly also destroyed our group.
It was everyone's favorite.
It was.
Also, I was muted for my last comment, so for anyone that missed it, it's that he fell, he just didn't die.
I was definitely sucking dust in that fight.
He got a big old shoulder chomp.
He did. But we press onward into the rest of Nomengard to see what useful items they may have to fend off a dragon.
All right.
Yeah, and the screen is all red for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah. I love those goggles. All right. So you guys have just got past the 2 guards, I guess. You passed the crazy lady. You had a fun conversation with some guards. And when we cut on last episode, you guys were going to go stomping across the bridge that's right there next to the big waterfall. Is that still the plan?
That sounds like the plan to me, yeah.
I believe it is, yes.
All right. Well, do it to it.
So
not everybody at once.
So they told us last time, they just pointed, the boss is that way, right?
So, there's a door there. That makes sense. So what they told you is that they don't know much. They are just on guard duty, essentially. And you guys needed to talk to 2 other gnomes. I will have the names for that in just a second. I put it in chat up above.
Double Bob and Fizzlestep.
That one.
And to add to that, there is something about a doppelganger, shapeshifter or something.
Something like that. I
believe you're keeping an eye out for a shapeshifter.
Some of y'all had to prove that you weren't a shapeshifter, and you did by cutting your own hand, because clearly a shapeshifter would be too smart to slice their own palm. Yeah. Got it. Zook, as you walk out here, you see the waterfall from before, and this bridge is you're fairly certain it's going to hold your weight, especially since everyone here is gnomes and probably uses it all day, every day. Might want to do 1 at a time, you get that kind of vibe, but you're probably solid.
I go running.
All right. Zook runs across the bridge, and it's this rickety rope bridge, and it just kind of as he's running, the fact he's going so fast causes the rope arm holds and stuff to be flapping around. All the planks are kind of jumping and stuff like that. He gets to the other end, and it's still just sitting there swaying as Rathian is standing there.
Jamril, perhaps you should go next.
Jamril looks Raytheon up and down, and he's like, yeah, that might be a good idea, friend. Sure, I'll give it a shot.
He's going to nod to whoever else is behind him that's light of frame, looking at Cazador and Illum.
Cazador is sort of nonchalantly bleeding profusely onto the floor and uncharacteristically slowly moving as she pulls a crossbow bolt out of her shoulder and throws it on the floor.
She is not looking well, is she?
Yeah, looks like 2 hit points to me.
Yep.
Cazador, you are clearly injured. Perhaps you would like assistance?
No, I'm probably fine.
Here's an interesting question as an aside real quick. Y'all leveled up in between sessions because I wanted to do it not like midstream. When you level up, but you are missing hit points and you are like not resting, you're in a place like this. How do you guys want to do hit points? Should she have gained all of her new hit points and then just kept the 2 from level 1? Or should she still be at 2 hit points? Or how do we want to swing that?
I would do it the first way.
Yeah, so whether you took average or whether you rolled for your hit points, feel free to add that on top of your 2 hit points, Cazador.
Sounds good.
Still gonna suck, but you know, it's better than 2.
She bleeds a little bit less.
Zook, what you see is you are at the bottom of it's carved into the rock, and there's about 5 stairs, and they're super well worn. This is a really well-traveled road, and at the top of it is a room that's completely dark, but due to your sweet goggles and dark vision, you can see there is a metal shaft that goes from floor to ceiling, and on it are giant metal blades, and there's one at like ankle height and one at like what would be human knee height, and one at like shoulder height and one at like head height, and they are just spinning.
Gnomes.
I go as close as I can without getting cut.
You can get all the way to the top of the stairs. Okay. When you get to the top of the stairs, you see that there's another one, and they are spinning opposite directions. So the blades don't quite like cross through each other, but they're close, and there is not a way that you could get between them without being hit by one or the other. Let me see here. Give me a perception check.
Right?
Illum would like to inspect the rope bridge as she crosses to be sure that her heavier friends will make it across safely.
Give me an intelligence or an investigation. Zook, you notice that on the far side of the room, on the wall right here, there is a lever, and it is currently in the up position.
14 for my investigation.
The bridge ain't the best, but you're fairly certain that as long as there weren't 2 people on the bridge at the same time, Raytheon would be fine, especially if he takes it slow and doesn't charge across it like a madman like Zook did.
And that is exactly what I will do.
Charge across it like a madman?
Clank, 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 clank.
Can anyone, move things with their mind?
Cazador looks incredulous.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Just for the record, the top one is going counterclockwise, and the bottom one is going clockwise. The blades are about a foot apart on each one.
So in response to Zook's question, oh gosh, I don't know what Zook is wearing, but I think she would probably use Mage Hand. So she does this kind of like thing in the air with her one with her own hand, and then something of yours sort of like lifts up, like maybe a pouch or something that's loosely tied. Something like that.
Yes, that's good. That's good. Come over here. Come over here.
All right, so she'll press up to the front.
You'll see that lever over there. It's a bit dark, but it's over there.
Do I notice it?
Yeah, especially with him pointing it out, you can see it. There's not a representation on the map, but it is right here.
Okay. Fantastic. So then say, oh, you believe that will disarm these devices?
Probably.
Well, let us test your. Oh, she wouldn't know hypotheses. Gregory knows that. Let us see if that works. And so she'll send the mage hand across and pull said lever.
Chunk. The lever goes into the opposite position, and the blades. You hear the whirring, like the power stop first, and then the blades kind of do that slow ceiling fan coming to a halt thing. And so if you give it, a solid 30, 45 seconds, eventually both of them will ease to a stop.
And I tap Zook on the shoulder and well done, my wise little friend.
Thank you. It's simple, no wish trap. There's a lever because people need to go around it, and those are really nice.
Okay,
blades.
that's probably enough talk. Let's get going.
I go and inspect the blades because Zook is curious.
So they're hammered metal, and they're large and flat, and then the edges are where the most work has been done. They're not super sharp. It is probably a good solid deterrent, so much as something actually designed to kill. But if you got hit by them, it would definitely hurt. You would have to do a good dance up against the wall, or try to time in between as the two swipe past each other. And if they got you, you'd feel the bite.
Yeah, that looks painful.
I'm starting to get the impression that these gnomes don't want us here.
Me too. This is kind of confusing.
Does somebody want to sneak ahead and maybe see if they can see what we're coming up on before we walk headlong into one of these things that we don't see coming?
Cazador will just nod and sort of duck off. No talk required, and she will move stealthily. And I now have a movement speed of 45 feet per round, so I'm off like a flash.
Just like a little bunny. Are you barefoot? Did you say you were barefoot?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Wet feet on cold stone. Slap, 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 slap. As Cazador across the chamber. And on the other side. Yeah. On the other side of the chamber, there is a tunnel on the northern wall that leads around a curve.
I will cautiously go through the bend and sort of look around the other side.
Okay. As you kind of enter the curve, you can start to see the bottom of a set of stairs, but then you hear an argument, and it's raised voices. It's not like absolute screaming, but it is raised voices. And do you speak Gnomish?
I sure don't.
You hear some sort of argument in the distance.
I'm just going to assume that it's Gnomish, and I'm going to kind of lean back into where the group is, point at Zook, and say,
What does she want?
Alum probably sees her looking around for Zook, who is still inspecting the blades, and will tap him on the shoulder and.
What does she want?
I think our friend needs your help.
She also needs you to be real quiet.
Okay, I can do that.
And you notice that Rathian is moving from cover to cover like a soldier might as he's moving through the room. So he's staying just close enough that he can assist with whatever's going on. And he
give me a
kind
stealth check.
Me or them?
Anyone who's not trying to be as loud as possible.
Okay.
All right. Stealth. There we go.
Oh,
6. Clank, clank, clank.
Oh boy.
I can be quiet.
I'm so quiet!
All right. Despite your best efforts, there's not an immediate response to the amount of noise that you're making, Zook. So you join Cazador in this tunnel, and you can see, like I said, as soon as the curve kind of comes to an end, there's another set of hand-carved stairs and also well-worn. And there doesn't appear to be like a door that's muffling or anything. It's an open air conversation, and you hear a male voice and a female voice, and they are arguing back and forth. And let's see here. I don't want to mess up which. The male voice is saying, I say we should build a sanity ray. And then the female voice says, no, clearly a straitjacket is the only way that this is going to work. And that is the first sentence you hear.
Oh. Zook just goes out of stealth and joins and goes towards voices.
Okay.
Come on, guys.
So,
All
like I
right,
said,
so we're not sneaking.
she says out loud as they not sneak into this
Excellent.
room.
I pull out an instrument.
Oh, God.
I climb down the stairs and shout in Gnomish, hello.
So, like, it's that scene where they're still arguing back and forth, and they probably get like 2 more words out before both of them kind of collectively realize that somebody else is in the room, and they both slowly turn to you.
Hi.
And then the male voice, like, seeing his opportunity, just goes, sanity ray.
Sanity Ray sounds cool.
And
I must
then
say.
the female says, yes, who are you?
I'm Zook. We're a few adventurers. We came here to see if anyone in Normangan can make weapons that can fend off a dragon.
You're here for the dragon. The dragon was just here yesterday. It was circling the hills outside of our canyon. Is that what brought you here?
Well, there's apparently someone in Fandolin wants a weapon to fend against it, so we are here.
And then she starts to say something, and the male gnome, who's, I'm gonna just make it easy for you. The male is Fizzlestib, and the female is Dabblebaub. So good luck keeping up. Fizzlestib steps a little bit closer and says, well, yeah, we probably have a couple of things that might be useful, but it's not really a priority right now. And then Dabblebaub says, yes. We need to see to the kings. They need our help more than the people in Fandolin. We've got our own problems.
Oh, I've heard you had a certain issue. We've heard there was, someone here who he says it is.
And they both look a little bit confused. And Dabblebaub says, well, no. Our issue is the kings. One of the kings. He's gone crazy. He's taken his husband hostage, and we need something that's going to snap him out of it. And then Fizzlestib says, yes, which is why we need a sanity ray. And she goes, no, a straitjacket is the only thing that's going to work.
Interesting. General, what do you think? Maybe a sanity ray or a straitjacket? What do you think?
Well, I guess for clarification, has that conversation all been in Gnomish?
So far, yes. Because he walked up and started talking and...
Well, a sanity ray would be useful. Right. I think
so too.
Fizzlestib says, exactly.
Is Longtooth still back on the rope bridge?
From where you currently are, you do not see Longtooth.
Yeah, if that was intentional, then Alum wouldn't go forward without making sure we're staying together as a group.
Okay. About the time that you got through the spinning blades and this conversation started, you would have realized that he's not there.
So she'll go and like look back around to see where he might be at. And it's just, so you just see Alum's head like around the corner.
It's that slow, like cartoon, like
exactly
Scooby-Doo style around the corner.
She's very conscious of the blades and like is terrified that they're going to start spinning again at any second.
You see Longtooth has stopped about halfway on that bridge, and he's breathing heavy, and he's looking out to the north at something You're not sure.
Longtooth, is everything all right? So she'll come out and like try to. Does he look like he's in shock? Oh, this might be a problem. I'm gonna run back, like literally run back over and try to find Rathian. Friend Rathian, we may have, and she's like looking back the way they came. We may have a problem.
Yeah, spit it out.
Longtooth seems to be stuck on the bridge.
Like
And
his
then
leg
she-
stuck.
And then she just like heads back to like make sure that he's like to go see what's happening.
Clearly, she is too weak to shove him. You should go.
Zook, Jamrel, you guys got this?
Oh, of course. This is
The
just a
Sensei
simple
is a lot better
domestic
than
dispute.
All right.
Yes, we got this. We got this.
And Rathian is going to make haste back towards his friend in the dark because he doesn't have his torch on, apparently.
Did you lose one?
Yeah.
There's
You can
one.
drag and drop it.
Yeah, there's
right?
one back by the gnome guards that got left.
Oh, here, yeah. So Longtooth has one, yeah. Well, he has light on. He should still have light on the spear.
Rathian has
That
the
doesn't help
little,
Rathian.
Yeah.
the little lights that I gave him.
That's
last
right.
time.
Yeah, that's.
Stone.
Yeah.
The little firefly.
You guys asked for this when I asked about dynamic lighting. This is your own fault.
I love it. No, it's awesome. Perhaps only one on the bridge at the time.
Yeah, and literally Rathian's foot is coming down onto the bridge as you tell him that, and he just comes to a screeching halt, looks back. Yeah, thank you.
Has something like this happened before?
To my knowledge, has it? No, never seen him like this before. Longtooth. Longtooth, you there, buddy?
He seems oblivious to your guys' prattling.
I also want to point out that like you guys are 10 feet from an 80-foot waterfall. So just imagine the roar of the falls while you're trying to scream at Longtooth.
Okay,
So he is
fair.
standing there. The whole area is just full of like rolling and boiling mists and stuff like that. And this bridge is just kind of slowly swaying because every so often the wind comes up the gully and stuff like that. So just imagine that scene as like Longtooth's cloaks and stuff are flapping in the moist wind of this box canyon.
And is Longtooth staring like out towards the entrance or at the waterfall?
Out towards the entrance to the north.
Yeah, he was looking up towards
Where
across
y'all
the lake.
came in. Yeah.
And we don't necessarily see anything out. Like if Illum looks, does she see anything out in the darkness?
Make a perception check.
Okey-doke. 12.
You see the stream. You see islands with a bunch of multicolored mushrooms on it. You see the rolling mist, and you see nothing else.
I'd like to look as well, if that's okay. Just kind of looking from his eyes, drawing a line off in that direction.
You see mushrooms. You see a stream. You see bits of the waterfall, and
nothing.
since you got a 17, you also see a single butterfly that flutters past, and then
So
Rathian goes catatonic as well.
there's a mystical magical butterfly.
both of them have the 1,000 square stare.
So I think Illum at this point would take her mage hand and send it out and sort of give a tug on it, like on whatever leather armor, or if he has a backpack, or just something to like grab his attention perhaps. And at the same time call out to him like, Longtooth, did you see something?
So when that hand grabs him, of course, he snaps. He looks down at his arm, and he kind of brushes it off.
And she's like waving at him or something.
He looks at you all at the end of the bridge, looks back, looks at you, looks back, and then slowly continues across the bridge.
Everything all right?
Yeah.
Looked like we lost you there for a minute. What'd you see?
I'm never lost.
Cazador has been crouching and peering at this scene from around the corner, and as they round the bend to where she is, she'll just sort of straighten up and follow along with everyone else.
As Longtooth tries to go past, Rathian's going to reach out and put his hand on his shoulder and kind of firmly stop him and turn him around.
You see that, yes, I mean, he's wet from the waterfall, obviously, but he's pale, he's wan, and, he looks clammy. His eyes are dilated. Something obviously shook him, but, he's an old friend of yours, and you know how he is, and he can be a very private man. He's got that kind of that resolved look of, this is not a conversation.
Rathian will kind of have that silent conversation with him as they both just kind of understand each other, but he's definitely going to come away from it looking very concerned. Like you can see just that sort of furrowed brow of curiosity as Longtooth walks away, and he's going to keep a real close eye just to make sure that everything's okay. The situation doesn't worsen, that he doesn't act weird or anything.
Star wipe back to the gnome workshop where Zook is very excitedly talking to these two gnomish inventors, and they're telling you, right, you need things to fight the dragon. We have stuff that will probably help in this, but what we need more than anything is for someone to snap King Korboz out of his madness. We must rescue King Nurki.
General?
Sorry, Nurkly.
King Nurkly.
As Rathian approaches, is this all still happening in Gnomish, or have they switched over?
With Jamrel there, I think they would have swapped over. Just keep in mind that this was actually happening while y'all were doing the bridge scene. So there's a couple of lines of dialogue before y'all catch up. So
I'll be over here.
Zook and Jamrel would be told that the gnomes are willing to give you magical stuff. They do have stuff, and everyone who enters this room can see that you're in like a tinkerer's workshop, and there's just half-built stuff everywhere. But they need somebody to cure the madness of King Korboz, because he has apparently taken his husband, King Nurkly, like hostage and locked themselves in their chambers.
Oh, well, is there any reason you can think of as to why King Korboz would have suddenly gone off the deep end?
And the two of them kind of like look at each other and then think about it a second and say, well, it only happened a couple of days ago, and the only thing out of the ordinary is somebody was saying something about a couple of gnomes missing. Not really our priority, though, with the kings and everything, and then the dragon showing up yesterday. I don't even know which gnomes are missing. It is barely worth even noting. Sometimes people disappear. Sometimes people wander. Sometimes people, and then Fizzlestib goes, blow themselves up.
Yeah, that happens. Well, that's fishy. A lot of things happening all at once. I think they're connected. I think the disappearances and the madness might be connected.
Yes, it seems like, perhaps even, and I'll kind of slyly look at the gnomes as I say this, perhaps a shapeshifter might be the cause of such madness.
It's possible.
Dabblebob will repeat after you and say, shapeshifter.
Yes, shapeshifter. We've heard of one being nearby, or perhaps even within the city.
We've heard a couple of rumors, but I haven't really paid it much mind. Again, I don't see why some sort of shapeshifter would drive the kings mad.
Well, he could be your king.
They both like mull that over for a second. And then Fizzlestip says, well, if either of them are a shapeshifter, why would they want to lock themselves in their room? Why wouldn't they be out like attacking and eating us? And Double Up says, I don't know about that. It doesn't make much sense. I never heard no shapeshifter locking itself in the throne room or in the royal chambers. Nope. None of this matters. We need to cure his insanity. And the only way to do that is a straitjacket. And then Fizzlestip says, no, it must be a sanity ray. And he like picks up something off the table and he starts like angrily like working on whatever he was working on before this argument broke out.
I mean, how can you even get a straitjacket on him? You need the range for that. Never mind. Maybe there's a lot of possibilities. We need to check. Maybe talk with him. Can we talk with him?
Yeah,
where is his room?
We find him.
They will both direct you to the stairs on the far side of the room. These here. And they will see... Hang on, I have to actually move my map to make sure. Yeah. They will say, up the stairs, take a right.
All right.
You're just going to let us go talk to your king, huh?
Well, they pretty much barricaded themselves, or at least Korbaz has barricaded the both of them in their chambers, so you're not really getting in there. So aside from yelling through the door, not much that trying to stop you can do for us. It's better that we finish our inventions.
So shall we go and talk to the king? I've never talked to a king before. What do you say?
Did any discussion happen of what this madness that they're trying to cure actually is, other than he just tried to kidnap, or he successfully kidnapped his husband?
Right. The story that you got from them is Korbaz went nuts, grabbed his husband, and locked them both in the royal chambers.
Okay, so we don't have specifics on the madness or...
No, like, there wasn't what they were doing. There wasn't a specific, like, time of day or anything. It was just 2 or 3 days ago. I forget, and it's actually not super important. A couple of days ago, one king went nuts. I started accusing all sorts of people of crazy stuff, and then grabbed his husband and yanked him into the royal chambers, locked the door, and neither of them have been out of that room since.
Okay. Sensing potential real physical danger, Rathian's actually going to move up front now. Torch in one hand, glaive in the other, and just kind of look back at everybody. Stay behind me. Also, how do I attach this torch to myself?
You can just like set it on your token and then drag and select both for when you move.
As Illum attempts to pass Longtooth, he pulls her up short. He grabs her by the shoulder and kind of whirls her to a stop. You know about magic. And do you understand shapeshifters?
Oh, okay. So that was Gregory pausing, because what Gregory would do would be totally different than what Illum would do. So she's gonna look at. So again, she has the mask on, so it's hard to read her response. But you definitely see her head like turn to address you. She says, "I have some experience with those who can appear as others.
They can look like anything, young, old.
Given the right skill, but I have a sense that they are not speaking of magic.
What do you? It's what I speak of, not what they speak of.
How can I explain? There is I have traveled the world, and I have seen a lizard that can change the color of its scales to better hide from those that would eat it.
I'm not speaking of chameleons. I know about such things. I'm a hunter.
Perhaps this shapeshifter can do something akin?
It could look like different people.
I would say so.
He lets you go.
Yeah.
Well, he looks back over her shoulder a couple times and follows behind.
She's before you walk away, she'll say, this may alarm you, but many that have skill in magic can do this. And then she just sort of like, you see her kind of cock her head like she's thinking about it too now, the implications. And then she lets you go.
Cazador has been eavesdropping and gives Longtooth sort of a long, critical look before he departs.
He grunts.
Zook was following Rathian at first, but then he got lost. Like in the lab, he was like, "Oh my god, this is interesting." And he goes to the table and inspects the mechanical parts and trinkets, and gets lost in the way.
There's all sorts of interesting stuff in here. Nothing is complete from what you see. It looks like they keep jumping from project to project. You see what appears to be an attempt at like a crossbow that reloads itself after each shot. There's like an amulet or a medallion, but it's full of spinning gears. And right now one of them is like messing up and it'll go forward a little bit, but then kind of click back. So whatever it is broken or not yet like fixed. And then spanners, bolts, wrenches, sheet metal, pieces of wood. There's like a random shoe, but both of them are wearing all of their shoes. So
Zook is like a kid in a candy store. He's like all over the place.
Got it. This whole, as you do that, they're kind of keeping an eye on you, but they're still very much discussing what should be done and whether a sanity ray or a straitjacket is the proper way to allocate their resources into fixing the king. Rathian, at the top of the stairs, there is a tunnel, probably about 5 foot forward to your left. There's a tunnel that goes straight ahead and then curves off to the right. And then there is an immediate right turn, which is the one that they told you was the one to get to the king's bedroom.
So while they were all staying back there and messing around in the lab and having the conversation between Longtooth and Illume, Rathian actually spent some time just sort of making sure that all of these halls were clear. He walked down here and he popped in here and then he went up here and he's just sort of like listening, keeping an ear out for the sounds of potential danger. He's listening at doors.
Okay. I'm going to just do them in an order that's easiest for me. I don't know which order you would have gone to them in. The door to your left when you get up the stairs, that door is locked and you hear absolutely nothing through it.
Okay. He wouldn't try to get in, so he would just immediately go to the end of the hall.
You can actually see the lock on it.
Okay.
Like it is not just a door that the handle is locked. Like there is a clockwork mechanical lock to the door. It is also a door made out of beaten copper. This is 2 large, fancier doors, and it's a set of double doors that, based on the seam and hinges, open towards you, and they split in the middle. So the 2 doors would be pulled to you. You do not hear anything, even if you spent long enough to just take 20 at listening through the door.
Okay. Then he'll make his way back to where they told him to be. Oh no.
You are jumping through walls.
I can't get back. There we go.
You found just the perfect corner of where two dynamic lighting lines intersect. As you go up this hall, there is a door on your right, which you would have seen from down in the lab and know goes onto that platform that's in the lab. And then you come to this door, and it is a very beautifully carved, like wooden piece set on a stone door. And this is the one that you assume is the king's bedroom.
So he does that movie thing where he's coming down the hall with the torch up, nothing but torchlight, comes across the shadowed wooden inlay door, inspects it, and then again, keeping his glaive close, he's just sort of gonna lean in and just put his ear up against the door and just see if he can hear anything going on inside.
Make a perception check. You hear a couple of footfalls every so often, but currently no real conversation or anything to like write home about.
Okay. So,
Zook, Jamril, are you coming with us?
Yeah. Just a second. Oh, okay. Let's go. Where are we going?
So as they all start approaching and making noise, Rathian's going to turn around and kind of hush them, and then he's going to activate Divine Sense, and he's just going to sort of tap into his.
Give me link it in the chat or tell me what it does.
If I remember correctly, it just lets you see like extra planar stuff, undead, fiends, celestials.
60 feet, celestial, fiend, or undead.
Can't do it through.
I'm being told I can't do it through cover, so never mind.
Oh. You would know how your own thing works and whether or not it is smart to use it, but you detected nothing anyway, so.
Okay. Then, yeah, he's just going to wait for everybody else to approach.
Everybody else is like shuffling down the hallway to you right now.
Got it. So he'll come back. I hear movement inside, but nobody's speaking. How do we want to do this?
Send the little one up there.
What? I'm not so good. I'm talking.
Do what exactly?
He speaks their language. Send the small one.
I have a name, you know.
And?
So I would rather people use it. Cazador.
Are you going or not?
You get the feeling she's
Sure.
about to pick you up.
Fine, I'll go.
And Rathian just kind of puts his hand up. Like, we need to figure out how we're going to approach this first. We got at least one Mad King locked up in here. We need to figure out if we're going to try to get more information out of him or if this is a situation where we're going to have to fight. We're in very close quarters here. We don't want that to happen.
Get the other one, the human man. The annoying one. You know who I mean.
Me. Of course. I'll go with you, Zook.
Let's go.
General the annoying.
Oh no.
It's every bard's nightmare.
We'll see. I'm low level right now.
So, hello? I knock on the door.
You knock on the door, and immediately there's like a hushed gnomish voice on it. First of all, common or gnomish?
Gnomish. Does Jamrel speak Gnomish? No, he doesn't actually.
No, I do not.
I'll say it in common.
Okay.
But
So you knock on the door and you say hello in common, and you hear a couple of quick like footfalls, like somebody is getting closer to the door, and then there's a hush like, yes, what is it? Who is it? What do you want?
we heard there was some issue around here, and there's a lot of trouble. We wanted to know what happened and if we can help at all. you know. I'm Zook, by the way.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. Look, there's a shape changer somewhere in here. It could be you for all we know. Yes. So we're not coming out.
All right. What made you think there's a shape changer in here?
Who are you to question if I say that there is a shape changer in my kingdom? If I say it, then there is a shape changer in my kingdom.
Zook looks back at General confused.
Don't forget titles, friend, and also ask how his husband is doing.
Your Highness, is your husband well?
He's fine. He's safe. We're both safe in here.
I'd like to do an insight check if I can hear this happening.
Sure.
Wouldn't it be Majesty?
20.
Not a lot has transpired so far, but like you don't detect any immediate like attempts to
So
lie to
Rathian
you
is like
or-
he's listening specifically for like the key, the kind of keys that somebody might have if they're hiding something. He's always listening for a wavering voice, a stutter, that kind of thing.
I don't want to like repeat the word paranoid, but that's the vibe you get. Not like necessarily scared. He feels safe. He's got his husband and they are locked in this room and nobody's getting in. So he's not afraid for him or his husband's life right now. But he's definitely concerned at what's going on, and he's there's a little bit to his voice, but like you would know that he's in a position of security, and so A, he gets to make all the demands because he's the king, and B, he's also in a locked room. What are y'all gonna do?
Zook, tell him we're here to help.
Your Highness, we're here to help to find the shape changer.
Great, perfect. Then bring back proof of the demise of this beast and free our kingdom from its grasp.
Of course, Your Highness. Can you give us any leads? Where was the last time you saw it? You saw the creature. Where was it?
Across the bridge. I don't remember. I was worried about my husband's safety. It attacked someone and I just ran. I had to get him to safety. He means the world to me.
I understand. We'll start looking there. We'll be back.
Great.
He looks back at the team like, oh.
You hear the like footsteps take a couple of steps away and then like a couple steps back towards you. And then a couple of steps away.
He sounded like he was telling the truth to me.
I think so. I don't know. He seemed scared. He seemed afraid of something. We really should have reactivated the trap once we've all passed. Never mind. Let's go and see if we can find a shape changer. How can you even find a shape changer? They can look like anyone.
Knock them all out. When they're unconscious, their magic won't work.
All of them.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, it's a little ambitious. I mean,
Are you guys
This is
having
not
this
unorthodox where I come from.
Are you
Nothing
guys having
is
this
orthodox.
conversation right outside the king's door?
Probably.
If they want it done,
Yeah.
they will agree to these methods.
Zook, give me a perception check. Or let me know your passive perception, either or.
My passive, I believe, is 11.
Okay.
Yeah, not very perceptive.
Yep. You don't notice anything.
nothing else presents itself. But let's put that one in the bag for now.
If you want things done right, sometimes you need to knock some people out. But fine, we will do it your way.
Let's go to the other side of the bridge and see if we can find anyone, or if we find a body or something like that, and we see that same person's in another place. Well, he's a shapeshifter.
So Rathian is just going to start making his way. Nope, he's stuck. He can't cross this line. That's a door.
Do you want to go through that door?
No.
Okay.
Rathian is just going to start making his way back down into this room and walk right up to whichever one this is.
Dabble Bob.
Dabble Bob. Dabble Bob, do you mind if I ask you some questions?
I'm very busy, but what do you need?
So we spoke to your king, and he appeared to be fearful but truthful.
Yes.
He's very concerned, obviously, about this shapeshifter situation that you guys have going on. Has anybody been acting unusual lately?
You mean aside from the paranoid king that locked his husband in a room?
Yeah.
I mean, Fizzlestib is normally very willing to work with me, but he insists that the sanity ray is the only way that this is going to work. So that's definitely weird, right? And she like glares across the room at him, and he doesn't even look up from this thing, and he just like picks up a random hammer, and it looks like whatever he's working on doesn't even need to be hammered, but he just like hammers it one good time because he hears her talking shit.
Pardon my ignorance, but do your lieges not have personal guard?
Fizzlestib will speak up and say, well, we all kind of just do our part to guard the community here. They don't, there's only a couple dozen of us. There never needed to be like guards posted outside the throne room or anything, because we all know who the kings are. So they're the ones with the crown. You listen to them.
Again, forgive my ignorance. Does anyone go in the chamber? Perhaps a servant or someone that serves food to the kings?
Well, there's a group of folks that work in the kitchens. I got names for you if you give me a second. Assume she listed off these names for you.
Mm-hmm.
She will tell you that there's a couple of folks. She just like kind of just says, well, there's like Joy Bell and Dimble, and then up and down, and she will just keep listing off names if you don't stop her. I'll write them in the chat if you want them.
Alum is the kind of person that will actually wait for them to list every person, and then once they come to the end, she would ask and have they been? Well, I guess what I am getting at is, are you certain that King Gnerkli is still alive?
That is a great question. I don't dare question King Korvaz. He says that Gnerkli is safe and protected. I've not seen either of them myself, and they have enough food and stuff in their chambers for at least a couple of days, I would imagine. So
Cazador.
So sorry, go for it. So Alum kind of bows slightly and says, but of course you are, after all, loyal subjects. However, we are neutral observers.
Right.
Zook,
Yes?
did you hear anyone else in the king's chambers?
All the sound was a bit muffled. I couldn't hear much besides what he was saying.
I am
sucked at his perception checks.
I am concerned for King Korbaz's safety.
That's a fair point, but I think we should check some other alleyways before we, go and open the door and, do all that thing.
Longtooth makes his way up to this guard, and he kneels down next to her so he can look at her eye to eye.
It's a lot of kneeling.
How long has your community, your kingdom, thought that there was a shapeshifter, a shape changer amongst your number?
It only came up when the king went mad. He's the one that started claiming that there was a shape changer, and he ordered the two guards across the bridge to keep an eye out for one. Fizzlestib and I have been working hard to cure him of his madness. We've not seen any sign of this shape changer, and we haven't had anyone be attacked by anyone or anything that wasn't itself. So
days, weeks,
the shape changer.
Well, how long have they been locked up?
A couple of days.
A couple of days. So tell me, as a community, I'm sure sometimes you guys have holidays, parties, festivals, that type of thing.
Right.
So the last one you had, assuming it was in the last couple of days, tell me, what meal was served?
What meal was served? That is a great question. Mushrooms. We eat mushrooms pretty much primarily.
You eat mushrooms all the time.
Yeah.
Is there anything special you can tell me about that festival? Like, was there a special song that someone sang, or a special drink that you?
Did you reveal a special machine in that festival?
Well, the one thing that comes to mind was a couple of months ago the Kings had their anniversary. So, I mean, we don't have too many proper holidays around here, but we do, of course, take time out to celebrate that.
Very well. So the last celebration was for their anniversary. Tell me also, what is the name of the last child born to your community?
Well, we don't have any children here at the moment. And she spends a moment thinking.
What is the name of the last old person that died in your community?
Insert random gnomish name here.
Thank you. So he looks at his companions. Logically, this newcomer will not have these pieces of information.
Smart.
We'll go with the gnomish name Nim.
I don't mean to alarm everybody, but Cazador is gone.
Cazador, you're in the dormitories from before. Is there anything specific that you would like to be doing?
No, I'm just making sure that no two of these people look the same. That's probably my only experience with a shapeshifter, is they're going to look like each other.
Their tokens all are going to look the same because apparently there's much less gnomish tokens than
I found it!
than anything else. But there are several like coves in here. It's the room that you first entered when you got to Nomengard. There's several little like nooks that have straw and wooden cots and stuff. And there's, I think, like 8 gnomes in here asleep in different nooks and crannies.
Well, now I'm just going to kind of creepily look around.
You watch over half dozen gnomes sleep and snore. One of them like farts and then rolls over.
So Longtooth, are you suggesting that we go through and interview each and every one of these little gnomes?
It's that or knock everybody out.
I heard that.
I was hoping for some middle ground.
We don't wish to remain allies of these gnomes, do we not? We wish to get inventions and items from them, so our dragon slayers can get about the business of slaying dragons.
You guys having this conversation like right in the middle of these two gnomes working on
right in
Yeah.
front of him.
Okay,
Yep.
Yeah,
got it.
I'm trying to be the good guy here.
Say, the king said that someone was attacked.
Yes.
Did any of you see anything like that? Was anyone really attacked by some? You know? What was it?
There does seem to be at least a couple of people missing. I think we're missing 2 people. But again, I have no way to prove, this is Fizzlestib talking. I have no way to prove whether they were actually attacked by something or whether they could have got eaten by the dragon. The dragon was here yesterday, so maybe they were out in the woods and got ate by the dragon, and then that's, somebody's missing, and that's what's driving the king mad. I don't know, but clearly the sanity ray is what's gonna fix this.
I agree.
Where were these people that are missing? Where were they last seen?
It depends on who you ask as to where they were last seen.
I'm asking you.
I last saw them at mealtime 2 days ago.
Maybe you could direct us to where they sleep, where their rooms are.
Well, we pretty much just have like a common area, except for the kings. They have their own room, but everyone else, and he kind of gives a thumb down the tunnel that you watch Cazador come up from, and she kind of stomps across the room, and she's able to just like clamber up onto this higher platform that's in the room there. I have a thing for you.
Like a cat, just...
Yeah, she just like
Just
grabs
go
the,
where I
the
wanna
edge of the
go.
ledge and goes, hey up, and up there. There's a 10-foot high ledge that overlooks the room, and there is a wooden pedestal up here. And on that pedestal, Cazador, there is a leather-bound book, and then the door that you are standing in front of. And Fizzlestib's going to look at Zook, because Zook is the gnome, and go, with all due respect, what the hell is she doing?
I have no idea what she's doing. At no time whatsoever. She's very weird.
She's trying to help you. Is there anything we should be concerned about up there?
No, just don't go messing with our book, please.
I am not interested in books. I'm going to listen at the door.
What's in the book?
It's ours. Leave it alone.
Fine.
Okay.
It's community property.
Fine.
And what exactly is in this community property?
It's a spell book, okay? It's our spell book. It's for the community. Please leave our stuff alone and help our kings.
So you didn't think maybe to flip through it and see if there's any clues?
It's
out. There's some magical shape-shifting happening.
It's a spell book. Look, what clues would be in the spell book?
Yeah, I think that Shapeshifter wouldn't turn into a book. That's really weird.
That is correct, Zook. That would be weird. However, it could contain spells that would allow somebody to change their shape, if I'm correct.
Let me look at what's in the spell book real quick. Also, there was, even before the one, you didn't hear anything in that hallway, but now, like, the door sounds like oak.
It's a deafening silence. It's painfully quiet.
One last question.
Sure.
These people that have gone missing, anything common about them? Like, are they all in the hat making business or something?
Well, I mean, they were all gnomes, and they all lived here, and yeah.
All right. Last question.
Gnomes.
Is there anybody else in all of your kingdom that is more helpful than you?
There is a lot of sleeping people up that hallway. About 6, 8. You can go talk to them.
Because I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm kind of tired of being here, and I'm kind of sick of these gnomes.
we're also kind of tired of you being here because you've done nothing so far but interrupt our work on what is going to cure our king. And you have asked a bunch of questions, but you're not finding any shape changers, and you're still keeping us from getting our job done. So anything else we can help you with?
Touche.
And then Dabbleop's going to say, unless everyone wants to start working on a straight jacket.
Rathian is now on Team Straight Jacket after the sassy gnome.
I mean, I'd work on a straitjacket if I thought it would help, but I don't think it will help. But anyway, let's go and I think we should go and inspect the side on the other side of the bridge, maybe, and see if there's anything weird in there. And if not, maybe we can rethink our options. But if we find something, I mean, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Let's go. Let's go.
Okay. Anyone who is not for going across the bridge over to the other side?
I think Rathian is on team look for clues and do some detective work. But as he is making his way out, he's going to kind of stop and think for a moment. He's going to look back and he's going to look at Cazador and Longtooth, having heard that there's a room full of people up there. Maybe we should talk to him.
Maybe
So-
you should talk to them.
Rathian, as a hunter, I often try and get into the mind of my prey. And I'm thinking here, if I'm some diabolical shapeshifter, would I spend my time sleeping in the common room with gnomes, or would I be about my business?
You
And
see
my hair just randomly
twinkle of
hanging out with
understanding.
gnomes. This creature, if such a creature exists, is here for a purpose.
It was that old woman.
Probably not the old woman.
Knew it.
I don't think so. If we understand the creature's purpose, we can figure out where the creature is.
This has been my concern. I am feeling as if perhaps King Korbaz is a captive, if he is even still alive.
Korbaz was the one that's crazy and was talking to you
sorry.
through the door.
That's right. So King
Nerkly.
Nerkly.
I don't know. That seems too obvious. And now he's starting to think kind of like Longtooth. If it was a shapeshifter, what benefit would there be to lock itself up in a bedroom?
Why not still replace the king that controls the power?
No, I think there's something more going on here. I think we need to find who might be out and about.
Very well. Let us investigate further.
Zook's not there by that point.
Yep.
Yeah.
Your gnome
Yeah.
has wandered off.
Longtooth will go make his way back across the bridge. I think that's the plan.
Well, I'm with Zook during the time that you guys are all chatting, and I kind of lean down to his gnomish figure, and I'm like, Zook, we really need to make a good impression here. We should try to find a way to be really useful.
Yeah, I think we need to find the shape changer on our own.
Yeah, you and me. Let's do it, buddy.
Let's find it.
Detective force go. Zook, as you come plodding up the stairs, a female voice says in Gnomish, "Who goes there?" And a male voice repeats it in Common.
It's me. It's Zook, the gnome who cut himself a few moments ago.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess if you know about that, then you can't be a shapeshifter. So go on through.
Yeah. Did anyone else pass in here while we were there?
No, just you and your friends.
I see. All right. Are there any traps that we should be careful about if we go around this place?
Well, yeah. Hang on, let me get her name here so I don't mess this up. It's a weird name. Can't find it. Can't find it. I'm failing. I suck at DMing. Starts with an F.
Oh yeah, that woman.
Yeah, they'll say you don't want to walk in the room with the crazy lady and the crossbow contraption because she's gonna shoot at you.
That makes sense. Let's avoid that room.
Cazador grunts angrily.
Factore was her name.
Let's go investigate.
Okay.
I investigate.
Yep. So you walk into this room, and it's like a large kind of pantry area. There's wooden crates stacked up along the walls. It's carved out into several nooks, and in each of those nooks, there are 4 large, like wooden casks, like a barrels. And so there's 4 in the north, 4 to the south, and then 4 straight across on the eastern side of the room.
Okay. Zook will probably look around and try to see if there's anything strange in the room. Anything hidden. He's just going to methodically go from room to room if he can, if nothing stops him, and search the walls and search the floor and try to see if there's anything uneven or hidden.
So go ahead and tell me where you're walking and what you're doing and stuff like that, just so that as we go room to room, if you find stuff, you find stuff.
All right. So we'll definitely go check that room. It'll take him some time. And
so do you come in and go left or right? Like what are you doing? Where are you touching and walking and stuff like that?
Going behind the casks and looking at them. Going near them, near the walls.
Okay,
yeah.
So up top there are 4 large, like wine barrels almost. None of them have been tapped proper. Let me read my description here. Yeah, so they're large wooden barrels and they're secured kind of to the wall by a wooden brace. And then they sit on like a wooden thing that's cut out so they can't roll. They're not just on the floor, they're on like a stand. And there's 4 of them up along this wall. And all 4 of these look to be full.
All right. I knock on them to see if there's any sound. Do they appear full after knocking on them?
All 4 up top are full.
All right. I'll go check the other 8 in the downside of the room.
Okay, so
what are you looking for, Zook?
Which ones do you start with?
The ones on the right.
The ones on the right. So you step to the first barrel, you knock, it's full. You step to the second barrel, you knock, it's full. Third barrel, knock, it's full. And then you swoop around to the ones on the eastern side of the room. You tap on the first barrel, also full. And at this point, you can see that there are taps in the ones on the south. So you're just kind of walking down the road to the east. So you tap on the first barrel and you tap on the second barrel and your hand sticks to it.
I think I'm stuck, guys.
Doc?
Sorry, I was reading chat about Zoom. Are you okay, Clay?
I can't see the window. Hopefully I'm not muted. Am I muted?
No, you're fine.
Okay, so I just won't be able to.
Can you like alt tab into it? Or
no,
anything?
it's even alt tab. It's not there. It's not on my task list. This is really weird.
Huh. We will try to fix that on the break, which we're going to actually go on in just a second. But before we go on the break, I'm gonna need everybody to roll initiative.
Oh no, a mimic!
Classic. I was expecting that. Like, there's too many barrels here. Something peculiar is going on in this room.
Right.
Remember to click your token.
Yep.
Oh, I found it. It was just minimized. So it was like in a tiny window. It's weird.
There we go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a mimic.
Another combat, Rathian will start by charging in for a couple of rounds.
Got it. I'm going to go ahead and sort it. Rathian and Longtooth, like as they left and went into this room, were y'all purposely staying down there, or did y'all just waiting on the description before moving your tokens?
No, I would have followed. I was busy trying to find my Zoom window.
Nope, I'm just making sure. We are going to go ahead and pause here for a quick 5-minute break. So if everyone could be at the back at the top of the hour, because like I said, Zook knocked on the first barrel, and as soon as he knocked on the second one, he stuck, and then a large purple tongue came out of the barrel and wrapped up his arm all the way to the elbow. And at that point, we are going to fade to black, and we will be right back, everybody. And we're back. And where we left off was Zook being elbow deep in a mimic. So initiative has been rolled, and our lovely Cazador is up first. You are standing at the entrance to this room. There's nothing really exciting in here. It's just a bunch of barrels. The gnome is walking around, and he's like thumping on all of them. You do not care about this at all until he is being sucked into one of them.
Since I've been with Longtooth for a while, I'm gonna give a little like hunting whistle, like, oh, shit's going down. I've spotted prey, to let him know if he hadn't been close that it's go time. And I think, especially because I'm just going to move in and hold back. God damn it! Every time I come off Zoom to try to move my character, I'm gonna move and hold my action if anything gets in melee range with me.
Okay. Rathian.
So Rathian is a little too far back, but as soon as he hears the sounds of battle, his soldier instincts kick in again. So
You don't even need the sounds of battle because there's the sounds of Zook.
Yeah. So his glaive is out. His helmet comes clanking down as we discussed. And I don't think I'm going to be able to make it there without double moving. So that's going to be his turn. It's going to be stepping up here and then dashing to within spear range over the top of Zook. And he kind of readies his glaive up over the top of him.
Nice. Zook.
All right. A little mechanical spider climbs out of his bracelet and climbs over his other hand as he pushes it into the mimic, and it electrifies it as I cast the Shocking Grasp cantrip.
Okay.
So
is that a save or an attack? I forget. I've been playing too many other systems.
I think it's an attack. Let me see. Yes, it is. Let's do it. So that's a 17 to hit.
17 does hit.
Okay, so he takes 4 lightning damage.
It takes 4 lightning damage.
And has no reactions. And Zook will try to move away, but I guess he's like attached.
You are grappled by this mimic, yes.
Yep. So
since you used your action to attack, you cannot use your action to break the grapple.
And that's my turn.
Got it. Longtooth.
Longtooth, hears combat, sees ruckus. Cazador whistled for him. And this is kind of where he stops short, right behind a loom. Longtooth has killed bears and boars and wolves, and even fought himself a manicore once. But he's never fought furniture before. So he's just like, madness. For his action, he's dodging, because I can't get there anyway. So
got it. All right, Zook. The barrel continues to kind of shapeshift a little bit, and rows of large, sharp teeth have appeared around what would be the end of the barrel. So like the ridge, not the lid. It all becomes teeth, and it bites down, or attempts to bite down, on your arm. With an 13, because it has advantage on this attack.
So my armor class is 15.
It does not pierce through your armor. It's biting on there, but due to the mechanical stuff that you have and your little spiders and all that stuff, it's trying to like fight you pretty good, but no such purchase. Jamrill.
Okay. Jamrill, surprised by this barrel, is going to kind of clap his hands and then wave them up in a weird arcane sigil and cast fairy fire on this object. So it's a dexterity saving throw.
I can do that. Give me just a second while I read these things. Fairy fire is a first level spell, right?
It is.
Roll me a d20.
Oh,
1. Okay, thank you. I will make a dexterity save. I need to read a thing real quick about Mr. Mimic here. Cool. Dexterity save. 16.
so he passes. And then Jamrill's going to back up a bit and kind of reach over and give Longtooth a pat on the back.
Do we need to make you a new character sheet? I feel like 10 has been your highest initiative so far, and I have saved out of everything you've done so far.
Hey, it'll come around.
It'll come around. Everything's coming up, Jamrill.
Save the good rolls for the dragon.
Yeah, there you go.
And we're gonna bardic inspire on Longtooth.
Oh, you get the shoulder rub of mystery.
You do.
All right, Illume.
Oh, what have you gotten into this time? She's gonna step over here. Actually, she's not. She's gonna stay away from the barrels, but still try to get somewhat of a view of this creature. And then she does another kind of motion in the air and puts both of her hands forward, and a arc of blue lightning cycles out from her hand seemingly, and I am casting Witch Bolt at this creature.
Which bolt?
That bolt. Oh my god, a freaking natural 1 is gonna miss.
Oof.
It's just going to slam into the wall behind and just kind of splay across the rocks, and then like you get that like force lightning effect on the railing as Darth Vader's like throwing the Emperor.
I imagine that
skitters across the barrels and stuff.
Yeah, I imagine that Zook and this creature are sort of like
they're wrestling back and forth,
and probably at the last moment, like she's just collecting the energy, and right at the last moment, Zook probably pops right in front of her, and she's afraid that she's gonna blast Zook instead of the creature, and like pulls it off and like I think that'll do it for me then.
Okay, that'll bring us back to the top with Cazador. A whole turn full of misses, basically, except our main man, Zook.
All right. I think I would like to approach, and what would you like me to do to aid Zook in freeing himself from this thing's grapple?
Are you trying to just like grab Zook and pull him out of it?
Yeah, or maybe like just put a foot on this thing and just kind of help him pry himself off, I guess.
I would do a contested athletics. If you grab Zook and you try to pull him away, I would make it your athletics versus the mimic. If you try to like distract this thing so that Zook can get out, I would basically allow you to give him advantage on his next athletics or acrobatics to escape.
Yeah, I'm not that nice. I'm just going to help.
Okay. There is a wild elf lady in here, like getting some fists and feet and other stuff. Like the tongue is still grabbing around Zook's elbows and
just
like
trying to like shove the tiny one out of the way.
Yeah. So Zook, on your turn, you will have advantage if you try to break the grapple and get away.
Roger that.
Rathian.
Rathian 2 is going to move to flank this creature. Let's see. Yeah, I'll just move here. I don't care that it's in my reach. And he is just going to stab straight out with his glaive, but at the same time, he's going to look down at Zook and just sort of ask him, like, what are you doing up here?
17 does hit a mimic.
Okay, so as he is looking down to Zook and like, oh, you all right? I don't know why you're here, but whatever.
What do you think I'm doing?
So not even looking at the mimic as he's stabbing, he's looking at Zook. You're going to see his glaive suddenly light up with holy fire, and he's going to divine smite into it. Sort of a no look, just holy explosion.
I'm imagining like Rathian walking up and putting one hand on like one of Zook's shoulder and being like, "Bud, are you all right?" While he's not even looking as the spear goes into the barrel over there.
Exactly. So I'm gonna pop. I only have first level, so another 4 damage of radiant damage as I'm assessing my friend's situation.
Isn't that a 2d8 for a first level smite?
Should be.
Yeah, I think it just rolled really bad.
A 3 and a 1.
Oh yeah, it's a 3 and a 1. It now has a large spear jabbed into one side, or glaive rather, jabbed into one side of it. Zook, it's your turn. You're currently getting like the world's like shittiest timed pep talk, and also like a wild elf lady is just like slap fighting a mimic next to you. What do?
I am going to take the opportunity and try to pull away.
Okay, you can give me an athletics or an acrobatics against its athletics.
I'll go with acrobatics.
Little quick fucker. You somehow you beat it.
It was the smite. That's what did it.
Yep.
Goodness.
You win. Hooray.
The acrobatics of a 6 is basically just this.
Well, didn't he have advantage because a Cazador anyway isn't really the 22?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Look at this guy paying attention to things.
It's especially bad, but he's especially good.
I'm even without the advantage, like I was surprised. So.
I was thinking it was like all the oils and grease that Zook uses for his inventions.
I believe he just called you a slimy little gnome, sir.
It's not incorrect.
All right, so you break their grapple. What do you do?
Yep. If I go back, he'll probably jump on me. So I'll stay right there.
Okay. Longtooth.
Yeah, there's that moment when Jammer reaches out and touches him, and Longtooth whirls on him as if to yell, "Get off my lawn!" Right? But maybe Jammer's just got an infectious smile or something because he is obviously inspired by whatever just happened. So he just like nods, and he is going to lunge forward with that long boar spear of his and thrust over the top of Zook's head into said piece of live furniture.
Got it.
He doesn't know what the hell a mimic is. He just knows this is furniture. As far as he knows, this is a gnome contraption that just eats people.
I really like the visual here because the 3 of us all have big spears, and Zook's like 2 feet tall. So there's just this wall of spears coming over the top of Zook as he's like, ah!
So let's see how this goes.
Exactly.
I will not use the inspiration. I'll accept the 15 attack roll here and see if I hit.
15 hits.
All right, so 8 damage.
8 damages. I just want to note your inspiration speech. I had the like combat equivalent of Longtooth standing there like all pissed off, but then the music, like he started tapping one foot. Like that's the equivalence of like, oh, okay, well, I guess. Anything else, sir?
No, he's good.
Somebody roll me a D3.
And those ones tonight.
Yeah, I got Jamrel first and 2, which means it's going to go for Zook again, and it's just going to attempt to smack him with a pseudopod.
Blap.
I need a different mimic. This one sucks. That is the mimic's turn. He doesn't get any sweet, like... Nope. Mm-mm.
A hail of spears and a tongue.
Yep. Jamrel.
All right. So, the initial nerves have kind of worn off of this creature just kind of suddenly attacking the party. And Jamrel kind of clears his throat and he says, I'm not sure if you can understand this, Carol, for you are just a stupid barrel. And he's going to viciously mock this thing.
Barrel pun.
Dang.
Well done. Well done.
So just to set the scene, you have a bard in the back who's like quipping off puns around like 5 people that are stacked up around this thing. And so from his point of view, it's just a bunch of like elbows and spears and the occasional like pseudopod and purple tongue. And then like random, like you'll see like one of Zook's hands all of a sudden.
And he just
like,
gave this thing body dysmorphia.
Yeah. And he has to lean in around Longtooth and get like a quick snip in line of sight to be like, yeah, you're a barrel. So what is that? That is a wisdom saving throw. Yeah,
my goodness.
It don't got time for your shit. There are more important fish to fry in the room.
It's a bad day for magic.
That barrel is tremendously confident.
Yeah.
This is a really beefy mimic. Like I would say it's like barrel chested.
Oh my
Boo! I'm done. I'm out here, guys. I'll see you later.
Loom.
It hurts.
It's funny because I can still see him on Val's cam to know that he didn't go anywhere.
Damn it!
There we go. Now he's gone. A loom.
Got attacked by the dog.
So, a loom whispers under her breath. Well, can she see how this thing seems to be faring? Like, is it still looking pretty healthy?
Poor barrel.
I mean,
So again, it hasn't completely untransformed from being a barrel. So you have a barrel that is like a set of jaws on one end opened and like trying to bite at Zook. And then like a random pseudopod has come out of one side of it and is kind of slapping around, but it has a spear buried into the front of it, a glaive buried into the side of it, and an elf just like slapping the shit out of it. Like you don't even think the slaps are doing any damage, but she is just like open hand, just smack, like misbehaving child. Oh, backhand.
so she kind of whispers under her, sort of quietly, with a noise in there might not be heard. Longtooth may hear. She says something. She says, "Master, please," and then she is going to try to do the same thing again. So hand gestures and trying to, without destroying her friends. In fact, she's probably going to try to move over here and get the right angle this time to where she feels like she's a little safer doing this. So let's try again. How about a 12 to hit?
Witch Bolt is a leveled spell, isn't it?
It is, but we are only level 2, so.
Yep. I need 2 things from you. That hits, so go ahead and roll damage, but also roll me two d20s.
All right.
That's never good.
Oh, that is going to be. Wait. I think I'm supposed to do that at level 2. Since we're we're second level now. Yes. So that should be at level 2.
A level 2 spell.
I think it's a level 1, so on level 3 it's a level 2, isn't it?
But I'm totally new to the warlock, so warlocks always cast at the highest level, right? But it's still first level slot. Never mind.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing. So that's right. 11 lightning damage, and there's still so she's now it is full on emperor. She's now like just focused intently, and there's even probably some lights coming out of every like her eye slits or something.
Roll me a d20 and then roll me another
Nope.
d20.
All right. Will do. 2 d20s. Here they go. A 13 and a 7.
Okay. The first thing that happens is your skin turns a vibrant shade of blue. Like we're talking like Avatar or like Mystique. Like you are just bright blue. Boom.
Okay.
But nobody can tell.
Yep. The second thing that happens is as you are maintaining your spell and like, doing the force lightning, there are random tiny motes of light that just kind of like start coming off of you and just like almost like fireflies. And you now shed bright light in a 10-foot radius and then dim for another 10 feet. So you are bright blue and emitting glowing motes.
And then she says, "Thank you, master." And it's like there's more energy just in her voice than you've probably heard to this point. I mean, any of the companions have heard. So yeah. Cool. I'm done.
I think I awakened a beast.
Cazador.
All right. Since I have not gotten to spend any of my newfound key power, I am going to spend a key point and do flurry of blows. So I'm going to do an attack with my spear, and then I don't know if I want to bite a barrel, so we're going to do a little punch kick combo.
Do it.
Man, I kind of wanted you to bite that barrel, though.
Another nat 1.
Anything else?
So, no.
Okay. Rathian.
All right. I don't think there's anything worth doing other than stabbing this thing with the way that spells are missing and people are missing. Rathian's getting frustrated, so he is just going to double down, takes his spear up in both hands, like flourishes it, and just drives it into this stupid thing.
Hit. I'm saving that for my quote board. So you get a good stab in there and then kind of a good slash across with your glaive, and this thing is just like oozing purple goop everywhere. Like imagine a like busted wine barrel that was spewing wine, except you're pretty sure that that's not wine.
Oh man, I should have used another smite.
It is going ballistic. Zook. Purple liquid is now spattering across your face and like pulling at your feet, and like there are still teeth chomping at you and a random pseudopod that you're having to dodge with your face. And what do you do?
Zook will probably disengage and go under Longtooth and behind him.
A tiny gnome covered in purple goop ducks down and runs between your legs, and you feel the back of your cloak like flap up as he runs out from between your legs and into the room behind you.
I'll just position myself over here and I get out. And he will look at the rest of the party, and that's my turn.
The rest of the party is currently trying to kill the thing that you've awoken. Longtooth.
Longtooth continues to apply the stabby stab. I'm happy with the 24. I'm not happy with 5, but I'm happy with 24.
It is, if you sneezed on it, this thing would die. Like it is on the ground at this point, like trying to use its pseudopods to like knock the spears away, and just like it has nowhere to run, so it is backed up against the wall and just flailing, which means it's going to try to bite Cazador's foot. Does an 18 hit you?
Oh, yeah.
6 piercing damage and 6 acid damage.
Oh, bye.
I'm down.
Oh no!
It did something. It has 3 hit points left, but it finally got a bite on somebody.
God damn it! I should have smited.
This is all Rathian's fault.
I'll accept that answer.
Cazador goes down with like a furious, like fist flailing, like. "Ah!"
Jamrel, from your point of view, you see Cazador like get grabbed by this thing and fall down onto the ground as it like starts eating up her leg. So it has tongue around like her leg almost up to the knee and is just pulling her like limp form into its completely bloody and full of holes mass while still looking mostly like a barrel.
Well, that really looks like it hurts. I think I'll do something about that, and I will cast Healing Word from where I am.
I need you to roll me a d20.
You.
17.
Hey, above 10.
You sprout wings that look like a butterfly. You now have a flying speed of 30 feet.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Oh,
So he just kind of lightly hovers up to the center of the room as he casts this spell down at Cazador, and he says, you know what, and take a little inspiration on top of it. And he's going to throw you a bardic inspiration as well, Cazador.
Cazador, you are being eaten still, but you like come back to consciousness, and there's blood in your eyes, and there's purple goop in your eyes, and you like flicker your eyes awake, and as you're laying there on the stone floor, up above you is Jamrel floating with like the little blue Skyrim butterfly wings, and he's just like effortlessly fluttering in the room.
That does not concern me in the least, because the first thing I'm going to think about is how furious I am at this horrible thing eating my foot. I'm going to spend my other key point, and I'm going to try to do that whole thing again.
Well, I mean, after
on your turn.
Oh, I thought it was my turn. Sorry.
Nope.
Illume.
Don't talk about me if it's not my turn.
I'm sorry. I'm the DM. I'll talk about who I want on whatever turn I want.
Yeah, the lightning is just crackling away. So where's this?
So you don't even have to roll. You just get to tell me how you kill this mimic.
I'm getting back up to there. So another
Nope.
This thing is still alive.
I even gave you the like, just tell me how you kill it, and then you rolled a 1.
No,
so I can't even save you from that.
At least Cazador will get to kill it now.
I guess. Cazador, you are currently prone and grappled by the. Well, no, it didn't actually. Yeah. No, not grappled. You were dead or unconscious. So you wake back up, and this thing was trying to turn around to deal with Rathian stabbing it when you snap back to. So it is just starting to turn away from you when you.
I'm going to role play this briefly. Stab. Do you want to use my previous roll, or do you want me to roll again? From when it was not my turn.
Yeah, roll again. Remember, you are on the ground prone. Do you want to stand up, or do you want to strike from on the ground prone? And remember that there is flavor reasons to stay prone, but there is mechanical benefits to standing up.
I would probably do it from prone.
Okay. Make me an attack roll at disadvantage. 14 hits, and you will destroy this thing. So please tell me how you would like to finish this off.
I'm rolling all of it. That's how I kill it. I come alive. I am furious. I let out a primal roar, and I just punch this thing, punch a hole in it.
She's like ripping off.
I have
like
tapped
planks
this barrel
of the
for its blood.
Got it. Well, we are going to pull y'all out of combat there because you have officially defeated the Shapeshifter of Nomengard, and you now have a very bright blue woman, but you can't see any of her skin, so you don't know this, and she's also emitting little sparkly motes. Meanwhile, the bard is currently hovering in the back of the room with little pretty butterfly wings.
Yeah. Longtooth will come up behind Cazador and like, okay, it's dead, and try to like slowly try to calm her down, pull her off this nasty creature.
We found the shapeshifter. It's dead. Good.
Good. Why are you flying up there? What is that? He's looking at Gemrel's wings. Like,
I have no idea what's happening.
Rathian looks to Cazador, sees she's all right, looks to Longtooth, sees that he's tending to her, and just starts walking out of the room. And as he gets next to Jamrel, he just kind of looks up. Suits you.
Magic.
Keeps going.
Someone grab this thing.
what, grab it? What do you want to do with it?
Proof there's a shapeshifter. That's what the king wanted.
Oh, right. Sure.
Well,
So really-
Longtooth is gonna jab at these other barrels, right? He's got that spear. He's like,
All of the other ones are, in fact, just barrels.
Okay.
2 of them are half full, and 2 of them are completely full, even though they have been tapped. The final 2 that are on the side where the mimic were, not tapped and completely full.
considering how the gnome said that some of their members had had disappeared here recently, and I get that there's a fair amount of fresh blood on the scene. He's going to look around this area with his tracking to see if there's any signs of dried blood. Like did these other gnomes die here to this creature?
Give me a perception, an investigation, or a survival. I will let you pick which.
Go
Can I
with-
assist him? Maybe? Investigation?
Sure. Yeah.
All right, so I guess I roll advantage. I'll go. Perception and survival are the same at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
I'll go with my 23.
There you go. There are some like dark blue stains, like old, on the floor, and then like kind of back over towards the hallway. There's a little bit of green, again, just like very old stains, but nothing that looks like gnomish blood to you. But this is a very like lived in space, and it's stone, so
Fair enough.
Hmm.
I don't know.
I would expect to find blood in here if this thing ate the other things. The other gnomes.
does anyone have any backstory reasons to have known about, read about, or encountered mimics before?
Are there any songs about mimics?
It's a really like fun word to say, but a tough one to rhyme. So
Yeah, maybe not so much.
Yeah, Rathian probably didn't spend a lot of time fighting mimics on the front lines of Torm's order.
yeah,
Longtooth doesn't even know the word mimic. It's monster furniture. That's
Yeah,
all he
monster.
knows.
I think a loom would just say like, this is curious. Not what I expected when they said shapeshifter.
as she says shapeshifter, beneath her mask, right where her mouth will be, a little mote comes out and lights up the room before floating off and then fizzling out as another one comes out of her ear.
Yeah, she seems to be like totally enthralled by these lights, and she's oh, you must be pleased with me. She seems to be talking to herself in like sort of another world almost for a moment.
Cazador is just going to ignore that and kind of slap Longtooth on the arm and say, "You're strapping. Grab the thing. Let's go."
I don't actually know how much a mimic weighs, but I assume that with enough effort, 1 or 2 of you could pick this thing up and carry it.
Longtooth looks excited and happy that he's the one carrying the corpse of the monster furniture, this purple sloppy thing. But he'll do it. He'll do it.
Rathian, as you enter that room, a voice in a language that you don't understand says, "Who goes there?" And then it's repeated in common.
You know damn well who I am.
How do we know that you're not a shapeshifter?
Because we killed it.
What? And then the female says, do you got proof?
Yeah. And he looks back over his shoulder at whoever's coming up the hallway with it.
Here comes Longtooth carrying the corpse of this thing. And then both of them kind of like go wide-eyed, and they're like, "Oh, damn. Well, I guess that's that. The kings are gonna be ecstatic. Like, thank you so much. Like, quickly, let's put an end to this."
I think we'll
Go,
all.
go.
Yeah. I think we'd all move, straight to the king's quarters.
Well, are you guys going to have any at-length conversation with Dabblebaub and Fizzlestib, or should I just go all the way to the king's quarters?
Only if forced.
Okay.
As I walk by, I'll just kind of.
Let's just assume that you guys traipse right through their workshop, and when they see this thing, they both get really interested and start going, "Is that it? Is that the shapeshifter?" And unless anyone specifically like speaks up, y'all just kind of like stomp right on through and up and around the corner, and like they both kind of leave whatever they have on their tables, and they kind of come to the top of the stairs and lean around the wall like Scooby-Doo style again. So one's down bottom and one's above her, and they're watching you as you approach the king's chambers.
Knowing that Longtooth is not probably prone to want to cross that bridge again, does it look like I could, with a strength of 10, hold this thing?
Yes.
Because I will make an attempt and cross the bridge with it to spare him from having to go across it again.
Yeah, you're pretty sure that you could do the thing.
I'm going to do the thing that I'm just going to like approach him, grab it unceremoniously, not have a conversation, and go.
Got
He
it.
appreciates that. Brevity is a virtue.
Conversation's not really my MO.
It's overrated.
I'm going to delete this dynamic lighting line while people are moving tokens, but this door is still closed. Don't go running in there yet.
But after Kazador crosses, he does cross the bridge. He stops kind of for a moment to look out, but he seems fine, and he continues across the bridge.
Your Grace.
You hear the footsteps as whoever's in there comes running up close to the door again and goes, yes, what is it?
We've taken care of your problem.
You found it and you killed it, I hope. It's dead? It's gone?
We did. We have proof. It was a mimic.
Give
What?
me a...
What? Yeah, that's probably what I...
WTF?
I believe it is a persuasion roll. Let me
What
verify.
did you call it?
Yep. Give me a persuasion check, Rathian.
I'm good at that.
I bet you are. Okay. You hear some shuffling and stuff in the room. You hear like a chair being dragged across the stone floor, and then you hear like the metal slide locks being unlocked from inside this door. And then like a little piece of the door actually opens up first, and it's a gnome's face, and he's right up against it, and he looks out and he goes, "You said you had proof?"
Longtooth.
Kazador is the one that has. He just gestures at Kazador.
Yeah, I'm like around the corner holding it.
Gotcha.
Okay. There's not enough room for tokens, but we're gonna assume that y'all aren't 5 feet wide, so that y'all can.
I'll just slop it onto the floor in front of the door.
And he goes, "This is fantastic. You've done a great service to our kingdom." And he's still talking, but he takes his face away from the like port, and he like halfway closes it, but you hear him shuffling with it locks and other stuff. And then he opens the door, and what you see is a tiny gnome guy, white beard, very like comes to a point kind of beard, and then he has tufts of hair behind his ears, but he's bald up top, and he has a jagged metal crown resting on his head, and like the biggest, bushiest white eyebrows. And he just goes, This is great. This means that Nerkly and I are safe." And he like seems to forget that you're even there, and he starts running around and looking for something.
Rathian, being a knight and sort of used to how he's supposed to behave in a court, like almost instinctually goes to like bow and kneel before the king, but then the king just kind of runs off, and he like stops halfway into his bow, like, okay.
Yeah, so he as you start to bow, and he walks away, and he starts to look for something on a table in here. He kind of catches that out of the corner of your eyes, and he goes, yes. Bring the thing in. Let's I need to take care of Nerkly. Poor Nerkly. And he like pats his pockets, and he goes, "Oh yes." And then he pulls out a flask. It's like a drinking flask, and he like scampers across the room. And do you enter the room at all? Okay.
Yeah,
Once you
I'll make
step
way.
in, you see the other gnome. Again, white, like crazy hair and stuff like that. He doesn't actually have goggles, despite the token, but a second metal jagged crown. And you notice that one of them, there's 2 points on the front of the crown, but on one of them, the left point is larger and the right one is smaller, and the other one is the reverse of that. And this guy
Aw.
is like, he is sitting in a chair, and his arms are on the armrest of this very fancy, like, it's not a throne, but it's a fancy chair. He's not obviously like tied down or anything, and he has a gag in his mouth.
Your Grace, is your husband all right?
He'll be okay in just a second. And he like unstoppers the flask, and he starts like splashing a liquid along the guy in the chair's like arms and legs, and he's just kind of like sloshing whatever this liquid is over anywhere where he is made contact with the actual chair itself. And then once he's done that, he starts to undo the bandana like in his mouth. Nothing? Just me? Cool.
Does does the other king say anything?
Yeah, so once the bandana is out of his mouth, he goes, "Are you finally free of this madness, Korbaz? Did they find it? Did they kill it?" And Korbaz goes, "Yes, they found it. We're safe. You're free. We can continue to rule our kingdom with grace." And then Nerkly just goes, he like kind of starts to dust himself off and goes, "Well, at least that's over. It's been a long 2 days, let me tell you. Who are all of y'all?"
Rathian's just got to kind of look back at, I guess Zook is the closest of that group, since you guys are really the ones here doing stuff. We're just guiding you.
Hi, I'm Zook. We're a band of, I guess, adventurers, maybe? I don't know. He looks at General. We came here
Who's floating up by the ceiling?
All right. That's happening. We came here to find maybe weapons that can fend off a dragon. And that's pretty much it. We're just people. Nothing fancy.
Okay, so kind of to describe the room, since I haven't done that yet, this is, their master bedroom, essentially. There's a large bed kind of in the area where Cazador is. King size bed, get it? Large king size bed. There's a desk at one side. There's where they're at. There's like a small table, like a breakfast nook kind of table, just a little round one, and a couple of chairs. But this chair has been turned away from the table, and then Nerkly was glued to it.
So that was universal solvent.
Yeah. He was definitely glued to the chair, and then something was sprayed on him to break up the glue.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No
Give
fault.
me an investigation check if you are pilfering through the king's belongings.
Alum is just standing in the corner, and like every once in a while she's like reaching out to these little motes of light, and she's just like totally captivated. What's the radius that is being cast by the light?
10 foot bright, 10 foot dim.
Oh my goodness. I wonder, she looks over to Jamril, and I wonder if this is a permanent effect.
I couldn't tell you. Hey, is this a permanent effect?
Has this ever happened to you before when you've used your magical skill?
No, I've never had anything like this occur. I don't know if it was the creature we were fighting or perhaps the magic of the area.
Oh, so you haven't possessed those wings for any time then?
No, but I'm really hoping it's permanent.
Nerkly is going to speak up and go, well, I don't mean to break your heart or anything, but it should just be a temporary effect. This area has a certain innate magicalness to it. That's one of the reasons we chose it for our home. It's kind of just all over the place, but it never lasts for much more than about an hour. So make sure that you're definitely on the ground about an hour from whenever you did whatever that gave you wings. That's all I can really say.
That is one of the more significant bummers I've heard in quite some time.
So Cazador, there's the bed, which is like got a sweet, big, fluffy red blanket on it. It's one of those beds that's like, considering that they're gnomes, this is especially true, but it's like just a little too high, like the kind of bed where it's like up on razors, so that if you backed up against it, your butt level would already be against the bed, which is especially worse since they're like 3 feet tall. So it's a really high raised bed, but the blanket goes all the way down to the floor. There is like a wardrobe kind of tucked over in one corner, big fancy crafted wooden doors, and then there's a desk that has just like a bunch of papers and other stuff on it. We lost a bin. The Korbaz is going to... Yeah, Korbaz is going to speak up and go, I cannot completely express my gratitude for you rescuing my husband and our kingdom, and you said you were seeking things to help with the dragon. The dragon came through. Somebody said it was... Are you trying to be stealthy at all, or are you totally just rummaging?
Oh, totally rummaging.
Okay.
It's being nosy.
Nerkly's gonna like pay attention. Like he's listening to what Korbaz is saying, but then he like...
I'm not obviously stealing anything. I'm just being rude.
Got it. Korbaz is saying, somebody was saying the dragon was here yesterday, I think it was. I don't remember. I've had a lot on my mind lately. And Nerkly goes, yes, it was yesterday. And then Korbaz is going to say, but right, items. Well, we've got some world-class tinkerers here, and we have a couple of things that might help you. And Nerkly's going to go over to the bed right as like Cazador's like feeling the blanket or something weird, and he's going to like lift up the bottom of the blanket and reach under the bed and pull out a small chest, like right where Cazador is at, like it almost hits you in the foot. And he pops open this chest, and inside the chest there is a hat and a wand. And he grabs the hat and he grabs the wand, and he kind of like tosses the wand to Korbaz, who catches it. And Korbaz says, a wand of pyrotechnics. And he's going to kind of hold it out towards, I guess Jamrel is closest to him at this point. He's going to hold it out towards Jamrel. And Nerkly just kind of has this hat, and he says, and this hat really amplifies your magical abilities. It is a hat of a grand wizard. And he looks at Raytheon for a second and kind of like mentally goes, yeah, nope. And then like steps past Raytheon to where Zook and Illum are, and he has this like big floppy, almost like Harry Potter sorting hat kind of hat, and he just like holds it up to the group of Zook, Illum, and Longtooth, and says, yes, and I'm sure our inventors have some other such artifacts that we can definitely help you on this dragon slaying quest of yours. We are eternally grateful for you saving our kingdom.
Well, thank you, sire. This is quite a kingly gift, and the people of Phandalin will never forget your generosity.
Sure. I need to scroll up real quick.
Yeah, thanks, old hat. All right.
A very nice old hat, yes.
Yeah, I think Illum would possibly reach out for it, since he seems to be like looking to hand it off to one of us.
So I'm not gonna make you move your tokens and stuff like that, but we're gonna kind of like montage a scene of the kings finally leaving their room for the first time in days and leading you guys back to the workshop. And Fizzlebob, I messed it up. Fizzlestib and Dabblebob are once again arguing that the sanity ray is almost done, but the straitjacket clearly is inferior technology, and like it's just a coat. Like he's going to break out of that. Like we need something that's going to fix the problem. As the kings like walk in, and they both have that like jaw drop moment. And so we'll kind of fast forward through it as we get towards the end of our bit here. But the two engineers are going to take you up the stairs and to the left to that locked door from earlier, and they're going to say, yes, we have many things, but the stuff that might help you the most is probably going to be this. And they go in the room, and there's just stuff piled everywhere, and they're kind of rummaging through it. And Dabblebob will pull out that amulet you saw earlier, the one with the broken gear. She pulls out one that's like actually working and stuff, and she hands it off to whoever's in the room with them. And then they keep kind of digging through, and Fizzlestib pulls out like a almost a 6-inch long rod, and it like extends it and goes, "This definitely handy for adventuring, right?" And he like collapses it back and he hands it to someone. And I have cards for all this that I'll give y'all so that you have your magic items. But you have a clockwork amulet, a hat of wizardry, a pole of collapsing, and a wand of pyrotechnics.
Oh.
Dope.
What was the amulet? Amulet of...
It is a clockwork amulet. Yep.
Thank you.
When you make an attack roll while wearing the amulet, you can forego rolling a d20 and take an automatic 10 on the die.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Once used, it can't be used again until the next dawn.
Still once a day.
Yep.
Solid.
I will, like I said, I'll give you all the cards for this, like probably just afterwards. So, is there anything else y'all would like to do at Nomengard?
Yes.
Yes.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Can I use your laboratory?
Well, considering the time of day, probably not the best to go just setting out traveling just yet, especially with that pesky dragon in the area. So if you want to, stay here for the remainder of the night, now that the kings are free, we'll probably have a little bit of a fancier dinner. So you could stay for that. And I guess we could lend you use of our workshop for this.
Thank you very much. He goes.
No, not that. That is very delicate.
And starts working on things.
Okay. Unless anyone has anything super crazy, imagine that you guys hang out for the night, and the gnomes have this it's not the craziest thing ever, but even the folks who are on the off shift, the sleeping gnomes, are all woken up, and everyone's kind of gathered. And what they end up doing is there's a throne room that you guys didn't go to. It's the double doors. They actually end up bringing several tables and stuff in there, and they set up and have kind of like a communal meal. And unfortunately, it is mushroom soup, because these gnomes love some of them mushrooms down by the waterfall. So you guys are offered the most fanciest, prettied up, flavored up mushroom mush that you have seen in quite some time. Does anyone eat the mushroom mush?
Rathian
Yeah.
He's used
definitely.
to Forgotten Realms version of MREs, so yeah, he's in.
Yeah, Alum is happy to try new foods wherever
Okay.
she goes.
Cazador eats like a slob and then goes sleeps outside.
Got it. So you guys have a wonderful dinner of mushroom soup. You have, turns out all those barrels, the gnomes have perfected fermenting mushrooms and made some sweet mushroom wine. So they have mushroom wine and mushroom moonshine, and whichever one you prefer,
Moonshine.
they give you some of that. And so y'all have a wonderful evening hanging out in Nomengard, at about
Earthy.
Yeah, remember about an hour later, a loom stops emitting particles, and
when that happens,
Jamrel's wings vanish.
If anyone's around when that effect goes away, she seems a little disheartened. It's like, oh, that was most interesting. I thought it was a new gift from my patron.
Do you often get gifts from your patron? Because that sounds awesome.
It is what has allowed me the skills I possess.
What do you mean, patron?
Perhaps we should discuss that another time. And Gregory is saying that because I know. Yeah, we could probably end it on that. That's kind of a cool little moment. I'm happy to answer the
Start it with an RP next time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm totally
Sure.
happy to answer the question, but it might take a minute.
All right, well, we'll fade out on the equivalent of Return of the Jedi Ewok party because you guys are surrounded by a bunch of tiny, excited people like getting sloshed on mushroom juice. And you guys are all going to be in the throne room just having yourselves the mushroomiest banquet. Yeah, and we can cut out a bit early tonight as far as the stream and recording is concerned, and I can give y'all your magic items and then kind of discuss what's going on. But also, you guys have technically completed another quest, so you guys are going to level up again because that's how this Essentials Kit does the first 3 levels is each time you complete an objective, you level up. So this is actually the perfect point to level up. And so I won't actually kill the stream. I will ask everyone, do you know what subclasses and stuff you are going for?
Oh, sure do.
What you doing? What is Rathian's build going to be?
He is going to be an Oathbreaker. So the darkness that's been brewing inside of him has come to a head after the harrowing battle with a mimic, and he's finally decided, gods be damned, I'm doing this on my own.
Fun fact, if anyone casts magic missile on that darkness, I will need them to roll a d20 to see which magical effect.
Are there girls there?
All right, Zook, do you know what your level 3 is going to bring for you?
I'm going to be an artillerist.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
To the surprise of no one.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, man. Emma's in our chat.
Oh.
I've been on the map. I haven't seen that Emma's in our Twitch chat.
Yes.
Hi, Emma.
I didn't,
Right.
I just realized that we would probably go for another 30 minutes, huh? I was thinking we were stopping.
It's actually a great point to
hour.
stop so that we don't get to the next place.
Okay, perfect.
So we'll actually start next session like as you guys are arriving at the next place. There's somebody roll me a d20 just to see if anything crazy happens.
Sure. We can role play out the answer to that question over the course of traveling or something.
Sure. In the meanwhile, who haven't I done? Jamrel, what are your plans for level 3?
I am looking at the College of Lore for my bard. Some cutting words coming in, a few more spells to support the rest of the group.
All the
and
skills.
be entirely useless.
Just constantly rolling ones.
Just get all the spells that don't require rolls, things like grease and stuff like that, since the gods have cursed ye.
Well, your rolls are just too good too, so I can't rely on.
I don't know. My
either.
mimic did 1 good attack, so.
Yeah, but it got a kill on that attack, so I mean that's 100% efficiency.
To be fair, all of my monsters have not hit anyone until they hit someone and took them down in 1 attack.
Yeah.
You keep one-shotting us.
Well, she was also at
Dangerous
like
world.
7 hit points, so.
They're just biding their time is all.
Speaking of Cazador, what is Cazador doing for level 3?
Cazador is making the best of her stealth abilities and going Way of the Shadow.
Nice.
That's not going to be terrible for all of my NPCs at
Wow.
all.
That's wonderful.
So crazy feral cat elf woman ninja?
Yeah.
That old trope.
From
Ninja
the
cat.
darkness.
All right, so gods be damned, paladin, crazy psychotic artillerist, know-it-all, more spells, bard guy, assassin, psycho cat cannibal.
Yeah, we can't forget that little detail. It's important.
No, it is. It is.
A loom. I don't know much about the. I gave it a quick read, but you are using a new subclass.
Well,
right?
I have a
So-
new patron that,
Mhm.
but I don't know if I'm gonna use that pact.
Okay.
Because it's I'm not positive. I'm leaning more Pact of the Tome, but I have to look. I'm not entirely certain. I will not be going like Pact of the Blade. I don't think. So
Okay.
that's not the intention for
Pact
this.
of the Tome is the best one, anyways. So
It
you don't-
feels like
nobody needs
perfect
these
for
blade
her.
lock
We'll
guys.
see. We'll see.
And then we'll round out on our mysterious Longtooth. You know where you're aiming,
Well,
Longtooth?
it shouldn't shock anybody that Longtooth the Hunter is going to be a hunter ranger. So
Nice.
Nice.
More power.
All right. Well, if the group is willing, we can totally roleplay out the answer to our Illum question as y'all leave Nomengar the next morning and head kind of along the spine of the mountains to the dwarven excavation.
Right. So, but before we leave the next morning, as we know, Longtooth is the one that rises early. People will find him outside looking for tracks, like in the area that he was staring at earlier the previous day, that weird encounter where he thought he had seen something. He's out there searching for tracks.
Awesome.
Cazador is also an early riser and will just not even ask questions about it, just kind of fall in and look for the same tracks.
Yeah, I think Illum is probably doing the exact same thing, like literally just following along and observing.
You probably had to drag Zook out of the lab because he was working like, most of the night and most of the morning, and he was like, I have new things I've made. Look at all the things I've made. And I'll just follow you guys as he talks and bubbles about trinkets and whatnot.
You do help them fix that one messed up clockwork amulet. Once you've seen the completed one, it's like no challenge whatsoever for you to fix the one that was busted
Nice.
in their laboratory.
Oh,
That's
all right.
awesome.
So I got my D20 for when y'all left. Y'all kind of make your way down the spine of the mountains if no one has any like crazy, what the hell are you doing, Longtooth type moments. And remember, what you're hunting for is there's a pair of dwarves who are excavating a site somewhere in the mountains to the southwest. And Longtooth's been around there enough to kind of know in the general area where they are. Go ahead and just give me a survival check, Longtooth, as you're leading the crowd.
Sure. Now, I think that because this is my favorite terrain, I have like expertise
Yeah,
on
you
this.
have a
So
benefit
whatever my
to
total
like,
is, let's add another two. Well, third level now. Is it still +2 or is it +3? I think it's still +2 at that level.
Ooh, tabulated player's handbook. Look at this guy.
Uh-huh.
Nerdy nerd, right?
Hey, I'm right there
+2.
with you, dude.
So it's going to be whatever this total is plus another 2 on top of it.
And I can assist with that.
Okay, yeah. So
So
this was
21. Actually, yeah, 21.
This wasn't anything from the book. This is just for my own reasons to say whether you were stomping around a little bit trying to find where you were going. And you do great. So you
Sure. I mean, because we kind of established that Longtooth is, he's been up in these foothills before over the years. He probably has an idea of where some old mines have been used before. So he probably has an idea like some areas where we can go look for these dwarves as a starting point.
Okay. So you go to the first mine that you know about, and there's no signs whatsoever of anyone having been here recently. So you make your way further west along the mountains, and you know that there's like a old kind of burned down dwarven village. Isn't the right word. There's just a handful, maybe like a half dozen buildings there. So that's your next place before the farthest point, which would be another prospecting location. So you lead the group into this kind of box canyon again. Not that y'all didn't just have one with Nomagard. I'll go ahead and jump y'all over there.
Do we want to role play out the answer to the question?
I do want to
Yeah.
role play that.
Yeah, I mean, I do
I'm-
too. So that's
I'm just giving y'all the scene of where you are in this canyon as you're role playing out the answer.
Okay.
Longtooth. I'm providing Longtooth the description of the place that he as a person would know about.
Oh,
And
perfect.
so it's this box canyon that comes in, and then there's they're not stone, it's metal, like a big metal wall built in this canyon, and then a big massive, like the Black Gate of Mordor kind of door, except it's just this big stone door. And so that's where you're going to be leading the party, and y'all can role play out that answer at this point, because I am done talking.
So, this may have occurred that moment that you asked. So she'll sit there for a moment and think, and then says, well, I was not born with the ability to channel energies as I do. Although I think some are. And there are those, I believe they call themselves wizards, that study for many, many years. When I was 13, I was struck by lightning. And so I didn't wake up for a few days. And I remember I was dreaming, and, well, a being of energy and light was, with me in those dreams. I didn't think much of it when I awoke, but several years, I think it might have been 4 years later, I was on a mountaintop during a lightning storm, and I was enjoying nature and the rain, and I was overcome by a powerful call. I'm not sure how to explain it, but perhaps as insects are drawn to flames, I hope it is not the same with me, but I found myself being pulled toward an energy I could not understand. I began to see things and feel things in a new way. And when I was 17 years old, I set out from my home. Are you familiar with Karatur? It is a very far off land. I have traveled many, many, many leagues over the last 4 years.
No, I've not heard of this place.
It is a beautiful and very different place. But strangely, these mountains remind me of my home. I grew up on a farm, actually. I had many brothers and sisters. But this energy, this being of light and power called to me. And now I am able to do, and she kind of manifests the mage hand again and like just lifts something into the air. You know, so she's like, these things.
Mage high five.
Yes, it is strange when she's please, Longtooth, do not be startled, but when they described a shapeshifter, I was thinking of something more like this. And she changes herself to look exactly like Jamril.
Fucking what?
Longtooth's eyes go wide. He takes a large step back, and he actually lowers his spear a little bit. He looks around nervously.
She
It is
kind of
Longtooth's worst nightmare, as there are now 2 of the touchy bards.
Cazador is totally nonplussed by this and will kind of hold Longtooth back like, no, it is fine. There are those in my tribe, usually weak ones, who will sell themselves to other beings beyond our ken. This would give you power. This is good.
Yes, exactly. In the land I come from, there are many myths about those who can transform. And she drops the illusion at the same time that she's talking. And she says, there are many from myths in my land of those that are close to nature who can actually become different creatures. What I just did was not real. If you placed your hands upon my face, you would still feel this mask. And she actually will, let's see. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I
didn't unmute myself for that. So
she's
the
going to
stream
stop.
doesn't get to hear my voice.
She stops talking for a moment, and she's kind of deep in thought.
You are, and he's kind of addressing the 3 of you, right? A strange and magical lot. I know magic is a thing, but you use it so casually, like it's a tool. I don't know. It feels dangerous.
Well, sometimes it is. I mean, if you're not careful, you're gonna get exploded at some point. But as long as you're trying and you're not dead from the first time, you probably learn how to use it, right? Right.
You are wise, Longtooth, to come to this conclusion. One of the reasons that I wear this mask is because I find it easier to remain in control. That may not make sense, but
is control an issue?
She's hanging her head at this point, and she says, at times I am concerned that the energy I have been gifted will overtake me. And you may recall that, like, when she was casting the witch bolt, she seemed to become like more excited and animated. You might think like Gregory might not be doing the best job of it, but
you're fine.
The way she speaks is like, you can tell that she's the kind of jilted tempo of her speaking is partly because she's not from here, so some of the words are awkward, but there's also this kind of like tension, this constant tension in her voice of like trying to maintain a calm that isn't always effective.
Do not overly concern yourself, Longtooth. All of the young races have control issues.
He just shakes his head and walks off.
You can see, as you have been describing this connection that you have with this possibly divine being, that Rathian has just been getting a little more and more uncomfortable, and it goes from sort of discomfort to like disdain, and then to just kind of like he's done with it, and you see him just kind of stand up, and I imagine somehow he got his hands on a Wolverine cigar. He just takes a big deep drag on it.
Casinor's totally fine.
I've seen a lot of people claim that they speak for the gods. Didn't do him any good in the end. And he just walks away.
And fade to black. End of the episode.
Love it. Yeah, Alum is just nodding as Rathian says that to her.
Nah, don't listen to him, girl. You'd be super easy to kill without this.
What have you gotten us into, Rathian?
I don't even know anymore. We're just on escort duty. Yeah. I imagine that our part ends and we'll have to roll new characters as soon as we get back to town.
Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly how it's going to work out.
So it's actually going to take y'all about a day of travel to get there, especially since you stopped by the old silver mine first. But it is within 1 day travel. And so you're going to be getting to this place right about dusk. Do you want to head into the canyon where you know this dwarven town temple thing used to be? Or do y'all want to set up camp out in the wilds?
I'd say camp.
Yeah, camp.
Okay.
It's camp.
Then discuss watch schedules and those types of things. And we will go ahead and shut down at you all setting camp for the night. And we will start next session with spending the night here in the foothills of the Sword Mountains. And then in the morning setting out to find the dwarven excavation.
I imagine Longtooth is on last watch because as part of his Outlander background, he can forage food. So he'll forage breakfast in the morning while he's kind of around the camp area for the party. So he'll be up early.
Alum offers to take watch all night.
Cazador, without regard for anyone else's desires, just at dusk starts going into the elven trance and says, "I'll be back."
You're going to need to sleep at some time of room.
I have not slept for years, I think.
It's true. She was always our watch.
Nonsense. He waves it off as nonsense.
I love it. Yeah.
Sorry, making barrel puns because Emma's in chat.
She's making them right back.
Yep. So Alum,
Emma, don't encourage them.
Alum on watch for the whole night then, guys?
No,
I'm getting up after 4 hours to keep her company anyways.
Yeah, I think I would imagine that probably Cazador and Alum are going to start probably spending a fair amount of time together because they're both up more than the others.
Okay.
I imagine too, it's probably time in silence. Unless Cazador starts conversation with Alum, Alum is like totally cool, just sitting and like looking up in the stars and that kind of thing.
Sure. Looking up into the stars, and then every now and then you hear the sound of teeth being filed.
Yeah.
Just crunching on bones.
Right.
I am way too lazy and tired to go digging through the book to see how it does like random encounters and stuff like that. So I'm just going to call for 4 D20s right now. And between now and next session, I'll see if it handles random encounters a different way. But, well, that's interesting.
Way to go, Lou.
Here comes the dragon.
Yeah.
If it's like Strahd, it's over an 18.
Yeah, hopefully it's the other way around. It's the high rolls we don't want.
Yeah, because that's normally how D&D works.
Yeah.
Literally every time I have the party roll for a random encounter in Strahd, they roll 18s and 19s and get one every time.
Yeah.
Every fucking time.
I don't want to spoil anything, but I'm going to spoil it. I normally do the 17, 18, 19 range as well. So you guys are safe for the night. And not to spoil too much fun, but all those random D20s you're rolling, there's stuff happening behind the scenes, and I am tracking where things are moving and stuff like that. And it'll be interesting at the end of this when I brief y'all on everything that was happening. So it's kind of funny.
I can't wait.
But I am going to go ahead and shut down here and go find myself some food and take a nap. So I appreciate all of y'all. This was a really fun session, and I'm glad that y'all were able to like. It was really interesting because everyone started going, "Oh, shape changer! It must be one of the gnomes." And I was like, "Jesus Christ! They're never going to go into the room full of barrels. They're just going to go like, no one in here." And like,
kill everyone.
They're going to literally just start punching sleeping gnomes and like
That's where I was heading.
like haggling or hassling the kitchen crew because of
You
like.
gotta give me credit. My idea was not bad for ferreting out.
It's true.
That was good.
I'm a little sad that I didn't get to like have any more conversations, and so that you could like quiz people on the king's anniversary and stuff like that. Because I wasn't trying to give Zook like the answer, but I didn't want to like screw anyone for being too vague. So that's why I said, just from now on, tell me exactly what you're doing so that I can know where you step and traps and blah blah blah. And then he said the words, "I knock on the barrels," and I was like, all right, well, here we go.
It's good that we didn't spend 2 hours just like Rathian and Longtooth just grilling gnomes.
Bad cop.
Where were you last night?
When's the king's anniversary?
Where's Harvey Dent?
Yeah, no, that's great. Bad cop gnome torture.
Oh gosh.
But thanks so much for hanging out, and thanks so much for my players. And I guess I'll end on an exciting announcement. I got my email from the Roll20 Spotlight. So it's not official yet. They emailed me. I emailed them back. They have to like do the things. But from now on, assuming it goes through, this show will actually be sponsored by Roll20. So all the dynamic lighting and stuff that I use for my D&D games, and then for those of you who have put up with me when I play Genesis and Star Wars and the Star Wars things that I have coming after this game wraps up, I will no longer have to worry about paying for all these sweet extra features that I use on Roll20 because I will have a year subscription to Pro. So that is pretty awesome, I think.
Yeah, man. Like I said, you've officially made more than all of us combined.
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
I'm not in this to like make money. I'm in this to have fun and meet folks like y'all and have a good time RPing and stuff. But I won't be mad about, hey, that $100 you spend every year just so you can play your nerd stuff on the internet. Yeah, we got that. So
Hell yeah.
bye.
Good deal.
See ya.
Bye-bye.